guys, this is the third part of my video tutorial. In the previous one I was trying to show you this one. Okay, so basically when I click this add button here, basically this is what happens behind the scene. So this method called add methods get executed, and then what I have done here is basically this is very important feature, important to understand. Basically in here, line 48, I create an object, empty JavaScript object literal as holiday. It's an object, and to that object I'm going to set a start date. And look at this one, scope.start date. It's kind of like a bi-directional. Now by using scope.start date, the start date value, for example, this one here is automatically available to JavaScript. It is because in our HTML, if you look at here, see, we have this ng model is set to a start date. So whatever this value of this text box is will becomes available. And with exactly the same way, like start time, anything that is selected from this drop down list is available here as a start time. Same thing for all of these variables. And then once we have all this value, basically we are creating an object, creating property. And the other thing that's very important is that this property right here, I'll show you later, but exactly corresponds to our domain model property name. Okay, like our domain model, yeah, holiday and leave. This guy I'm talking about, exactly the same name. Okay, so now once that is all done, basically now I have my object literal and I have all my properties set that came out from my template, my HTML. Now, hey, you know what? I have this service here called holiday and leave service, and it has very nice method called save holiday. The best practice, as I told you earlier, is always give this responsibility of talking to database and doing business model and stuff like that to a service. And because it's they don't recommend Angularjs documentation. They don't really recommend to write all this logic in the controller. That's why I have a service here, a controller here. Sorry, not the controller, the factory services here to do all this work. Okay, now let's go ahead and look into save holiday into our service. Remember, I explained in our service, I explained to you these two methods, very straightforward. They are just returning static data, but this one is basically doing the CRUD operation here. So in here, when the save holiday method on the factory is called, remember it's passing us this holiday to save, basically passing this object literal, and then it's using this HTTP. That is why, like, see right here, this dependency, that's why when we create our service, we automatically, this guy is now, automatically automatically hydrated, ready to use. It's provided by the dependency injection that is built in within Angular. So we're going to say, all right, here is HTTP, call this URL. Basically, we are making the XML HTTP request. We are using a post, trying to post this data that is held by this object literal into our backend server. And here is a URL. This is the URL that we would like to post. I will show you that later. And method is post. And here is the data. This is holiday to save. Okay. So let's let's look into server side now. Okay, but so far, because I have just been entirely focused on the client side, now let's look into our controller. And in that controller we have a method called persist holiday. Let's look into that persist holiday method here. See, this is the HTTP post. This is more about Angularjs. That's why I'm not talking how to do all this thing into how to do all those information into so I will try to be as brief as possible in terms of server side. Okay, so basically this object, when these methods get called, we pass the holiday and leave, and I have to know when this record was created. I set one additional property here from the server side, and using Entity Framework, we basically add that new holiday and leave into existing ones, and after that save changes, and this is all. That is all we do. Let's look into it. Let's see. Just to make sure that I'm not bluffing here, it's actually persistent to backend database. Let me show you this. Right now I have just one record, and as soon as I do this, something is, oh, sorry for that. Yeah, my even though this Chrome browser was open, but I had to close my Visual Studio. I mean let's go ahead and add holiday in there. Sorry for that, guys. Basically what had happened was, my Visual Studio, I'm running the Cassini server, and then of course I had closed my Visual Studio. I didn't realize it was okay. This is really cool feature of Angularjs. Okay, go ahead and add this one. Alright, it's added right away, just to make sure it's, as you see, our new record is, it's basically now inserted into our backend database, and it is also visible in the view. That is the feature. This is the first one. Like I told you before, I would like to show you all this feature one by one. I started with how to persist, how to add a record, and how to do that by using Angularjs. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is the second section, is of course in editing this one. Well, we can talk about edit. Let's go ahead and talk about edit here. Let me close all of these, because now I'll close all like this, and I'm gonna open my edit Angular HTTP view here. And the other thing, guys, that I haven't done is basically the Angularjs automatically provides the route. Basically that part I haven't done it. That will be the next part. Right now I'm still using ASP.NET MVC view. But once my next goal is to use actually a route provider, so that they have their one the view to load and stuff like that. Not really right now it's not really single page application. My goal is to make a single page application soon. Okay, so this is the one I would like to open, and on the JavaScript side I'm going to open this edit Angular HTTP. Okay. So here, let me go ahead and close this guy, because we just look at add already. This is for edit. So we're gonna look at a markup side and the JavaScript side by side. I actually close my Solution Explorer for now. Okay, like this, just like before, here, this ng app directive, you can apply this directive to the entire HTML or maybe certain section of the DOM. For example, this now it applies to entire div tag here, and then of course it has just like before, it has a controller and some CSS related to a Bootstrap, which is not that important right now for this one. And let's go ahead and look into our edit. Okay, on edit, as soon as you click the edit button, all the data that we have already entered is automatically populated into its respective DOM object, and text boxes, drop down list, and text area, all of this right here. Let's first look into how to do that. Okay, so okay, just like before, in the JavaScript side, like I told you, I have a module, and the name of the module is edit holiday and leave module, and this is the same name variable name as this name of the